Now, the issue of climate change is back in US politics with a bang in the wake of Superstorm Sandy. The mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg, has unexpectedly backed President Obama, partly because of that. Our correspondent David Miller has been following the race to the White House. He's been looking at the contentious issue of the environment in the USA.
I've come to the Shenandoah National Park in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. Americans love their national parks, of course, but environmental issues really haven't played a role at all in this presidential election campaign, hardly surprising perhaps, given the recent economic difficulties this country has faced. But the arrival of Superstorm Sandy, which battered the northeast of the US, has pushed one environmental issue back up the political agenda. That issue, climate change.
President Obama promised to begin to slow the rise of the oceans and to heal the planet. My promise is to help you and your family.
The Republican presidential challenger Mitt Romney playing the climate change issue for laughs at an election rally. That was before Hurricane Sandy hit the East Coast. Yesterday he was heckled by an environmental campaigner at an event in Virginia. The man unfurled a banner which read "End Climate Silence." He was shouted down by the crowd, which began chanting USA.
What about climate? That's what caused this monster storm.
So does that response suggest that many Republicans see environmentalism as somehow unpatriotic? Environmental campaigner Mark McLean believes attitudes to green issues within the Republican Party began to change in the 1980s.
The anti-environmental movement, as I'll call it, really has its roots in the 1980s under President Reagan's administration. He was the first one who really came out and said, well, I think he's quoted as saying, "A tree is a tree. How many do you need to look at?" And he promulgated a philosophy in that party, and he became the patron saint of that party and that philosophy, that environmental regulation was a liberal crackpot thing.
The mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg, has waded into the climate change debate, endorsing President Obama's bid for re-election and saying, "One candidate sees climate change as an urgent problem that threatens our planet, one does not. I want our president to place scientific evidence and risk management above electoral politics." It's certainly true that in some parts of the US, speaking out on climate change can be a vote loser, especially in areas like the key swing state of Virginia, where the coal industry has a powerful voice. Professor Karen Holt of Virginia Tech.
For example, in far southwest and southern Virginia, coal miners and coal companies and a range of others have been blaming the Democratic Obama administration for its various policies. Energy and environment have been working against the Democrats.
A vote for Tim Kaine is a vote against coal, our communities, and our jobs.
Vote coal. Vote against Tim Kaine.
In other parts of the state of Virginia, as well as other parts of the United States, the environmental positions certainly help the Democrats and do not help the Republicans.
Shenandoah National Park is only a short drive from Washington, D.C. Most of it is still closed following Hurricane Sandy. The rangers here will tell you the effects of climate change are already being felt. The landscape here is changing. When we met, Mark McLean reminded me of the key role the Scot John Muir played in the creation of America's national parks, and he recalled a less partisan age of environmentalism.
One of my favorite pictures is one of John Muir standing on the big rock in Yosemite Park with President Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, the first President Roosevelt, who was a Republican, by the way. And they did some great things, but yeah, it has changed over the last generation.
The day Hurricane Sandy hit the East Coast will be remembered for decades to come. Many lives have been lost. Stories of heartbreak and bravery continue to emerge. But it seems this storm may also be remembered as a turning point in attitudes to climate change here in the US.
That's David Miller reporting. It's 26 minutes past 8.